Hey friends, Masquerade, the costume chamber has seen some changes. So, very quickly, let's go to the Masquerade. I have completed till the first seven and eight more to go. So, the keys are still the same, but some trainers have been added, and of course, the difficulty has gone up. But that's quite fine. We get better, more goodies. I don't know better, but at least more goodies. Now, coming down to the costume chamber, I had in beta talks spoken about some heroes getting, secondary costumes, especially the legendary and one epic hero that you can see, Kelile. So they've got the secondary costumes. So now some season one five stars have got two costumes, which has improved their value, and we'll just quickly go through those. So let's start with Obakan, our dark five star. We know his regular costume, and we also know his first costume. Let's go to the latest one. So it's a fighter, which means he revives. We look at the costume bonus. So that has improved attack 15%, defense 15% bonus, health 20%. And the mana bonus stays static. I think when we tested it in beta, it was 10%. But then some decision and sense prevailed that let's not make these fellows too powerful, and plus they would charge faster with smaller level troops and whatever other logic must have been. But mana bonus is capped at 5. And because of these bonuses, these stats obviously jump up. Because when you look at Obakan, 829 attacks, 793 defense, and 1591 health. That is like without any emblems, right up there in line with season 5 heroes that are coming out. In fact, the health is much higher than season 5 heroes. So this really makes these fellows top tier. But at the same time, what is important is their specials. So we know Obakan is fast. Let's see what his Vampiric Cleave does. Deals 260 damage to the target and nearby enemies at 829. Caster and nearby allies counterattack with 95% of the damage received for 3 turns. Caster and nearby allies regenerate moderate amount of mana for each counterattack. The effect gets diminished for consecutive activations during the same turns. I would like to believe that even the wax to minions would be helpful. So they would be counterattacks. So it would add a moderate amount of mana. They're able to regenerate. So speeding up self and allies. So there is an improvement for sure when one sees the basic version and this one, which was a hit all, but 85%. So I personally, I don't find anything major that has happened over here except, tweaking of the numbers of 260 damage, and then 85 has gone up to 95%. But this additional mana, so is an improvement. And fighter class, so there's a possibility to revive that adds to the twist. So that's there. Still, he's not right up there, but then the stats is where the whole magic happens. So stats combining with the specials makes Obakan an improved hero. Let's go to the next one. Let's catch the next featured one. That is Vivica. So what does original Vivica do? Cleric. Costume bonus is the same, 15, 15, 25. So I'm going to skip that. So the original one is 44% health, 63 defense, all allies, and cleanses status ailments. The first costume recovers 44 health, gives minus 44 defense to all enemies, and dispels buffs. So these two beautifully complement depending on the situation you would take. Now, what does this one do? She boosts health for all allies by 670. All enemies get minus 39 attack and dispels buffs from all enemies. So, depending again on the situation where crazy attack, then this comes in handy. And of course, when you look at the stats, I mean, she can be taken for the Titan. Clearly, 800 at base level attack is decent. Defense 805. Wow. 1609. Wow. The original chick. Wow, wow, wow. So, I mean, okay, there's a lot of leveling up that is there. But the important factor is it's basically that one set of darts ensures accessibility of 3 heroes in one card. And that is, wow, special. She is powerful. Let's be very honest about that. Because of the sheer options that she's giving. So let's go back. Yeah, now we check from here. So, Kagan costume. This is what the original does, and I'm leveling up the costume, the first one. I don't have the second. And this is what? Hit 1, then mana generation and defense for all allies is the second costume. Sorry, is the first costume. And the second costume is this fellow. Same. Gets a minion. And look at the stats. 829, 767, 1658. Wow. And deals 285 damage to all enemies. So hit all. All allies receive a moderate amount of mana over 5 turns. So there is a moderate mana being added over 5 turns without anything. Even if there are no tiles, there is some mana being added, which is like, wow. All allies get plus 40 defense for 5 turns. So the secondary costume is way better than the first costume for sure. And of course is better than the first one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, I'm going to insert in here and talk about Kelile because I'm going to just cover them in all single video. So that's the original Kelile that nobody gave a damn about mostly. Snipe one. But this one came, and this was like, in some kind of a way, a grave maker type of thing that in 2 turns, 334 burn damage at fast speed. And look at the stats, 817 for a 4-star, 756. And health, so basically the initial set of emblems would go the shield and the health route for me to ensure that she stays alive. And the first basic costume is also pretty up there because 776, 788 is a 5 stars attack and defense stat. So that's like amazing. Let's look at what the secondary costume does. 788, 767, and 136. 1136 top. 1136 needs to go up a little bit to create more survivability with the help of the defense. Now, deals 220 damage to the target and nearby enemies. So hit 3. Target and nearby enemies receive 198 burn damage over 3 turns. So that's technically about 65 something. The caster absorbs 30% of the dealt burn damage as health, which means she heals herself. So I think for tournaments, for events, she's going to come in handy because at fast speed, 788 attack, hitting 3, 220 damage is fantastic. And plus the burn does its own job. So, I mean, we have her who's going to be prepared and groomed for event management, as I can say. That's a cheap shot, but okay. And let's go to this chick. So Isarnia. 916 at base. Oh my freaking god. This is amazing. I, what do I say? Hit all. And minus 44 defense. That's the basic one. The first costume was 255 damage, 952 attack. Oh gosh. All enemies get minus 34 defense. And guys, there is a season 1 bonus, family bonus that we are testing, or we just tested in beta. So that is going to add to all of these things of the season 1 heroes. So let's see what the secondary costume does. 270 damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 34 attack for 4 turns. Against nature characters, this status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns extra. And yeah, so the minus 34 stays for 6 turns and is uncleansable. And deals extra damage against fire. So yeah, 270 will go up a little more. But look at the freaking attack stats. This is like insane. 900 is already at base. Then you're going to put emblems on that. Wow. Whew. She is going to be a nightmare. She was already a nightmare in Rush, but she's going to go into a more crazy mode. Wow. Let's look at this fellow. Where is the regular one? So this was the regular one, 776 attack. Obviously it was much lower earlier, but now with all these bonuses, it's gone up. Deals 330 damage to target and minor damage to nearby enemies and heals the caster. So self-healing fellow. Wasn't any significant. Then came the first costume, which quite a few people liked, and I think a couple of YouTubers, or one specific YouTuber spoke really good about it, and this fellow got noticed. And he showed results. And when one looks at it, straight tanky fellow, obviously needs a little bit of sprucing up of the health, but 944 defense is tanky. Though it's a shame that we are now stuck on dark tanks. 280 damage to target nearby, which is an equal one, and steals 61% of the healing. Let's go to the secondary costume. So this one hits all and has got better stats, which is 805, 871, and 15. So this is like hits all and better attack stat. So balancing done in this costume. And all enemies get minus 50 degrees of any healing. So this is uncleansable ailment that is given. I feel that this costume is better amongst all the 3 versions. And with 805 and more emblems, obviously it's going to go up. So a hit all guy is more useful at fast speed in all kinds of play, whether it's the map, whether it's the war, tournament, and also events. So that's there. But I think there are a few more hit 3 higher event fellows. But this guy with all kinds of additions can really go up also. So there it is. And I think we have got all that was there. Amongst the new costumes, there is nothing new, nothing more there. So there are the secondary costumes. My thought on them is that the season 1 heroes, via these costumes, are in play, which is something that had taken a step back. So they are in play. Their specials variety is better with the secondary costumes, though in certain cases depends on what the situation is and what one is playing and what one requires. One picks up, and hence that means there is a huge amount of choice available with whosoever has these costumes on their heroes. Vivica becomes absolutely gem, as a hero, and I would really want her. Though I have got a lot of holy hero options, healer options, like I have Director Zuri and 2 copies of Professor Leidenbrock, who I simply love. And one is already being used. Second one, I will start leveling up as my Dart waitlist gets taken care. And a Vivica popping up is always welcome because she will get leveled up, and she gives 3 options. So it's always fun depending on what one requires. So having choices and options is always welcome, which is what makes all these secondary costumes being added on the season 1 heroes uh, create that importance and their use. Like, I would not level this guy up, I'll be very honest, but for this costume, maybe, depending on what the situation is and what options I have. This is the only card that enables me to level up. So I may level up, of course, I don't have a choice but to complete this fellow who's sitting at 370 since like ages. But complete that and complete this and leave this one aside. But this seems better because of the balanced stats and the hit all aspect. So, there you go. Even this secondary costume comes into play more. This fellow's secondary costume is hit all and generates mana and defense to all, so comes really handy. So, one of the growls that player base had, via the forum, that we don't have any sensible use for season 1 heroes despite their costumes. So secondary costumes have added a new dimension, apart from the stats improvement, because when one looks at the stats, they're like insane. So there you go. Congratulations for getting the heroes. Good luck for getting them also. I am holding off my keys for later stages. I'm going to keep hoarding and collecting. I did 3 summons earlier in the day, and I got a costume Thorn. Obviously, that's a duplicate costume Thorn because he's going to go into the Soul Exchange, and I don't have any plans to. So, well, that's what it is. Thanks for watching, and cheers.